Mr. Lawrence Gowan from Styx. Lawrence, it's a pleasure to talk to you again, sir.
I Wonderful to talk to you again, John. How you been?
I'm doing good. Philadelphia's been good to me so far this year, and
Good. Good to
I
hear.
saw you guys were in town not too long ago up in Hershey, I think it was.
We were in Hershey. Yeah, fantastic night we had. They're great. The Hershey Theater is that's a place that's steeped in some history, I can tell you. And boy, we they shook the place pretty hard that night.
Sure, sure. You guys are touring as you always do. I've seen Styx live several times, and one of the reasons why we're talking today is the big announcement that you guys will be returning to the Venetian, January
Yes.
24th to February 1st of next year.
Yep.
Tell me what you guys have planned.
Well, we are going to play this time we're going to play the Grand Illusion album in its entirety. We
Right on.
did back in 2010, we did Grand Illusion and Pieces of Eight. We're going to do just Grand Illusion, and then we're going to do a series of hits from various albums. But we're going to open the show with a full kind of presentation of Grand Illusion, beginning to end in the exact order that the album unfolds. And it'll be a pretty spectacular way for us to kick off our Venetian residency this year. Last year we had, we have something different every single year.
Sure.
But when we do these residencies, last year we were really incredibly honored, and I was like thrilled to have Liberace's piano and his Cant
Seriously.
in one of his coats. Yes, I wore one of his coats at the show. And so that was an amazing thing. It was the first time that piano was on the Las Vegas Strip in, I was told, 39 years, something like that, maybe even 40
That's
years.
incredible.
Yeah. And yeah, because Liberace had such a powerful influence on Las Vegas, basically on the over-the-top nature of the
Sure.
place. And so this year we're going to go over the top with Grand Illusion.
I'd be remiss if I didn't ask about the little fellow over your shoulder there. I see a blue penguin, unless it's my glasses.
Ju- You're
I think it's the other shoulder.
you're seeing a blue penguin?
All right, you know what? We should cut this interview then
God,
because I
John.
see a blue penguin.
You're sure that's just CBD oil that you're taking, right?
Shh.
Having, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Listen, if you want to see blue penguins, I'm all for it. I have
R-
nothing against that whatsoever. Maybe I'll see one day.
To each his own,
Oh, you
exactly.
mean that one? Oh, that one. Oh, yeah, yeah. That's my pal. Yeah,
Okay. All
yeah.
right. Travel
Mr.
buddy.
Yeah, Mr. Blue Sky, Mr. Blue Guy.
Interesting. With the Vegas and like you had mentioned, the grandiosity of a Vegas show. Does the band have any plans for showgirls or um,
We were thinking,
Tommy and JY going to do some kind of Penn and Teller thing, or what do you
yeah,
guys have planned?
we're thinking more of an Antarctica theme and going with penguins. Uh,
Okay.
the
Hence,
No, quite honestly, the music does all the magic that we actually need. It's amazing what it does to people. You know, we witness it, about 100 times a year. How audiences are so they're so enthralled with having this music, unfold before them in a live rock show yet again for many of them who come back over and over. And for younger people that weren't even born when the classic rock era was, really in when the biggest albums of that era were made, it's astounding for us to see just how fully they throw themselves into this music. They're completely absorbed with it, and that really is that's something happens at a rock show that just doesn't really happen at any other kind of entertainment that I've ever seen. We're joking about Mr. Blue Sky. We had a few days off last week. I went and saw ELO, Jeff Lynne, and again, just what it does as an audience member, it affected me profoundly. And we see that from the stage every night. Thousands of people are, arms in the air, big giant grins on their faces, and just full of an emotional, vibrancy that's impossible to not connect to.
yeah, I mean, Styx Music does that, and you pick the Grand Illusion to showcase at the Venetian, and that's perfect because "Come Sail Away," "Fooling Yourself," the title track. people are going to be singing word for word after all these years those songs.
That's what happens. That's exactly what happens. I mean, it happened again last night. We played in Memphis, and yes, you look out at a sea of faces, and they're singing these songs because they personalized them. Their lives. These melodies have withstood the ultimate test, which is time, and they've been around for decades now. And to see JY and Tommy and Chuck and this band on stage and what the level of show that we can deliver. I say that with no false, humility, because I'm as entertained as a lot of the audience are when I look across the stage at this band. It's really quite astounding how entertaining every single member is. It's really a band of frontmen.
It's funny you say that, Lawrence, because like I said, I've seen you guys 3 times in the past 3 years. It's been
Yeah,
amazing.
good.
And you guys, and it might sound cliche, but it truly seems like you guys enjoy performing and playing the songs in front of the audience. You guys have so much fun. A Styx concert is such a good time.
It really is. It truly is. I mean, I I never have the slightest hesitation if people say they're coming to the show, or if I invite someone to come along. I have no doubt in my mind they're going to have an extremely enthusiastic time, because it's just that strong. We do it so often throughout the year, John, that we have this as a shared experience of seeing, what playing in the band, in this band and Styx, what it does to people. And in the inverse is also true. It really affects us and helps us in all kinds of ways that we probably don't even, fully understand. But it certainly bonds us together as people and as musicians, and as a joyous little enterprise for us to be connected through.
You guys are playing tonight, headlining in Independence, Missouri, and I
Yeah.
see that you guys are doing headlining shows now. But for most of the summer, you
Yeah.
guys were on tour with Foreigner and John Waite.
Yes.
You had talked about the crowd getting into it. I'm sure, without a doubt, there were a lot of hoarse people leaving that show because the amount of hits that they heard out of those three bands in one
Yeah.
evening
Yeah.
is incredible. Talk to me about that tour.
It really was. We what we did with Foreign is we would flip every night for who goes in the middle slot and who would finish the night.
Cool.
So, every night we would flip back and forth. And, by the time, especially if we happened to be in the middle slot, by the time they were through a stick show, as you say, they were, I don't know how they had such resilience to go through the next, couple of hours, because by the end of that night, they had 4 hours straight of so many songs that have defined or been part of their lives. And you see, uh, yeah, first of all, it was the biggest summer tour we've ever done. So it was capacity audiences every night. If the venue was 14, 15,000, it was that. If it was 18, 19,000, it was that. So it was really, you know, amazing to see just how uh, there was no hesitation in the emotion that people were ready to kind of throw at us. They were
Wow.
their kind of enthusiasm was it was really over the top. It was kind of overwhelming some nights. We'd come off stage and just be like, we'd be saying like, "Wow, you felt that, right?" And we all did.
And
Uh,
that's awesome to hear after so many shows and so many
yeah.
years that the band can still be jazz when they come off the stage from the energy of a crowd.
I can tell you, we are every single night. We don't take it for granted. We go out there every night there's that little bit of nervous energy. We're not nervous, but there's a nervous energy where I wonder if this is going to happen again. You never absolutely know. But by the time we get to the third or fourth song into the night, we do kind of know how it's going to end, and yet we're still bowled over by it every single time. Quite often we'll wind up playing somewhere that we haven't played in 20, 25 years, even, for me. And yeah, to see people come back to it, after such a period of time, and have just the same devotion to it, or maybe it's even enhanced or gone further. And then to see young people who were probably just born the last time we were in that city, they're out there with just as much, maybe even more enthusiasm for it, because they've discovered the great musical statement of the last half of the 20th century, rock music, and they're seeing one of the most iconic bands from that era.
Yeah, and you guys are continuing to put out new music and putting on these shows that me as a father who grew up with the tunes are now
Yeah,
taking their sons and daughters to the show. I mean, I
that's
like I said, I've seen the band 3 times in 3 years. I've seen so many families at the shows. It's
yeah.
amazing.
It is amazing. I know. I remember reading that Alice Cooper made a very similar comment to what you just said. It could. Who knows how it starts off? Sometimes it's someone like yourself who's bringing their kids to the show. Kids, they're probably pretty grown by now.
Sure.
But there's others that have discovered the music either who knows how through classic rock radio, through the internet, obviously YouTube. Just hearing the names of some of the bands from that era. If you've heard the name Led Zeppelin, you can instantly, access that and go, oh, that's what Led Zeppelin was. Wow, I gotta bring more of that into my life, or
Hmm.
Queen, or Styx, or Genesis, or ELO, as I saw the other night, or Yes. So yeah, it's really something to see how it's, surpassed its expected shelf life and gone on to future generations.
I want to wrap up by talking about a album that I've had kind of forgotten about. The Big Bang Theory came out in 2005,
Oh yeah.
and it's an album of covers, and I was
Yeah.
not aware that there was such an album out by Styx. And I'll tell you what, there are so many gems on that album, Lawrence. It's just amazing. And of course, the album starts off with you singing "I Am the Walrus." Um,
That's
unreal, unreal. You killed
you
it.
know how that you know how that album why that happened? It's
Tell me.
because we were playing at the Crossroads Festival in Dallas.
That's a Clapton's
Yeah,
festival. Yep.
yeah. And JY, I was playing I'm the Walrus. I played it since the 70s. I would, often bring I'm the Walrus into a show. And he heard me playing it a couple of days before, and he said, we should put that in the Crossroads show. And I was surprised because, it's not a blues tune at all. But
Sure.
it'll really stand apart from all the other stuff that's going on there. So we put it together in about 24 hours. We played it, and the show was going out live over radio. And after the show, oh, by the way, this is another great coincidence of that. That's the day I met Billy Preston, the keyboard player that played with the
Oh
Beatles.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
He was sitting side stage as we played I'm the Walrus, and we came off. Like he gave me a, I gave him, we both gave each other a hug. I
Wow,
couldn't
that's
believe, I couldn't believe.
mind-blowing. Wow.
He just said, "Man, that was such a groove." And he wound up playing with us about a year later in Las Vegas one night. But after that, and as I was talking to him, a guy came in and said, "Radio station's getting a ton of requests to replay that version you guys did of I Am the Walrus." And so we thought, oh, well, we hadn't recorded it, properly like a live record. It just went out, to stereo mix. And so about 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, we actually did another live show. We were up in Oregon and we recorded it live. And again, we saw the reaction of the audience and decided, let's do an album of covers. Some other bands were doing that at that point. And, we came up with the title, or I came in with the title, it's a Big Bang Theory. And Tommy said, yeah, I like that. So it's funny when people go back now, they think it's named after the TV show.
Sure, of
No,
course.
TV show ripped us off and we ripped off Einstein. So,
Okay.
get your rip-offs in order. So anyway, uh,
The timeline
yeah,
there.
there's some great tracks on there. JY doing Locomotive Breath. We took just songs that had influenced us growing up, basically, songs that really changed our course. Tommy does a beautiful version of Can't Find My Way Home. I Don't Need No Doctor was another one that we put that in the live show for quite a few years, the Humble Pie version of that song. Uh, yeah, A Salty Dog was another one I got a chance to do. I Can See for Miles. Those, great songs. I mean, obviously on that record, the great material to work with. But I thought we did a really. I'm glad you discovered it again.
It's awesome. And I'm hoping that at least you might be able to tell me what is yellow matter custard dripping from a dead dog's eye. Do you have any clue?
Let me ask my friend here.
Please, please, Blue Sky, help me.
He said no
No
comment.
idea.
No comment. You don't hear that. You don't hear that too often nowadays on the internet.
So
Um,
funny.
yeah, yeah, I think John Lennon was going for some real wordplay there, and he came up with some startling and wonderfully evocative imagery, as he was known to do. And
Just such a fun song.
we'll have to keep it in the mystery category.
You touched on Tommy singing I Can't Find My Way Home.
Yeah,
The band, over and above his lyrics on that are just incredible. The
yeah,
band performed that brilliantly. There's so much going on with the acoustics and the electric and the keyboards. It's such an intense song. A lot going on. You guys pulled it off dramatically. It was really, really good to hear.
that's great to hear you say that. Yes, thanks very much. Yeah, Steve Winwood, what a great writer,
Hmm.
singer. Yeah.
So we got the Venetian dates announced for 2025. I
Yeah,
know Styx aren't going to stay off the road next year.
fair enough.
I'm sure that the dates are going to be coming soon for next year's tour.
They certainly will. We have no intentions of slowing down or stopping or retiring or any of that until the gods of rock deem it to be in the universal plan. So yeah, we're going to continue doing this. We're well into working on a new album. Crash of the Crown came out in 2021. Got to #1 on the Billboard Rock album chart. So
Yeah,
it gives us the confidence that people do still want to hear new music from bands that have been around as long as Styx, which is over half a century,
it's amazing, isn't it?
years. Yeah, it's fantastic. It's a band with such a rich, and widely respected history and legacy.
Well, if anybody wants to find out more about the band and the tour, it's styxworld.com. Again, we're announcing today the Venetian dates, January 24th to February 1st.
Yeah.
Styx, Lawrence, once again, it's been a pleasure to talk to you, and I will see you for a fourth time next year on the road.
I can't wait to see you again, John. All the best. Great to chat with you, and we'll see you somewhere up the road when we rock again.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, and enjoy your night in Missouri tonight.
We're gonna do that, aren't we? He says no comment. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Cheers. Bye
Yes.
now.